honor with us, Mr. Anupam Kher. A very good evening, sir, and thank you so much for gracing the occasion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I had mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also now delighted to invite on stage the co-founder of the Pillai Group of Institutions and Chairperson, Management Board, Mahatma Education Society, Dr. Daphne Pillai. As a proactive and supportive partner to Dr. Pillai's vision, Dr. Daphne Pillai sees herself as both a custodian of old world values as well as an initiator of new generation change. In fact, she's also responsible for many collaborative programs with reputed universities in US and other countries, and also for community service initiatives that go well beyond the call of duty. Dr. Daphne Pillai set up the research. We welcome on stage Padma Shri Mr. Anupam Kher. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have all gathered here for the launch of an unprecedented piece of work titled Edunation, The Dream of an India Empowered. Now, the book is a culmination of a journey that 1,000 students annually. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now humbly invite Dr. Pillai to please share his journey with all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Pillai.
Revered Chief Guest, Mr. Anupam Kher, Dr. Mrs. Daphne Pillai, Mr. Masban, Mr. Abhisar and Rajesh of the IBH, honorable members of the press, invited guests, and ladies and gentlemen. A concept which has been very dear to me and also very well understood by me is the word edunation. It's a word which I have coined because I felt during the last over 40 years, I've been building institutions from schools to junior colleges to degree colleges, and went to remote areas like Panvel and Rasayani. I built institutions, and I found that the socio-economic changes that have been taking place there and what kind of changes we could bring into the community. Therefore, I felt that education is a concept which has to be understood well in the country, and it should not be that we are just making India. We should also make for India. And the edunation has to be created along with Make for India, not only in manufacturing lines, but also in education. And we have almost 1 crore 10 lakhs children born in the country every year. And it is a responsibility to create schools for these children. We have not been able to constructively create schools or infrastructure required by these children. However, from 1970 onwards, we were not able to do anything at all. So therefore, we have almost about 65% of the Indian population failing from 7th standard to 8th standard to 10th standard to 12th standard. And therefore, we have more of school dropouts, and we have not been able to prevent this, though all of us are talking about it all through these years. It is in this spirit that I thought of writing this book, conveying my experiences during the last 40 years. I've created these concepts, and therefore it would be in the fitness of things that people must read it and make edunation a workable concept. Edunation, educate all the children born in this country at the primary level, secondary level, junior college level, degree college level, and for research and development. And this book will be an aid for all the parents, to the press, to the media, to all the people who builds community at large. distributors, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed sir, for sharing your beautiful journey as well as your valuable insights. On that note, I also humbly request Mr. Anupam Kher to please share a few words with the August gathering. Can we have a warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen?
Dr. Pillai, Dr. Mrs. Pillai, wonderful people and members of the press. I feel very ironical that a person who got never more than 35% marks in his exams ever is invited to be the chief guest of a book called Education. But I think I learned from life, and I learned the importance of education as I grew older, as I grew up, and I saw life beyond cinema and acting. Peter John ji, namaskar. I feel that more than half, I mean 70% problems of people, or poor people for that matter, in life is the lack of education. And people like Dr. Pillai, who are pioneers in providing education. Also, education has become a business, unfortunately, for a lot of people. And I'm thankful that the kind of work that you are doing is phenomenal and is so awe-inspiring. I came from a small town. At that time it was small town, now it's a huge city, Simla. I went to a Hindi medium school. My father was earning 90 rupees per month. The only thing he said that I would want you to go to the school, and me and my brother will make sure that something or the other, our bell used to ring at 9:30, so 9:25 till 9:25 we used to have stomach ache, headache, and 9:35 life was beautiful. But somehow we both managed to become graduates, but for me there was much more to achieve. So I took an education in the art of theater, in the art of cinema. I took education. A person who got not more than 38% marks in the formal education, I was very happy to get a gold medal in drama department, then 3 years diploma course in acting again from the National School of Drama. And the most important thing that I did in my career was not the achievements that I achieved as actor for awards and everything, was to open an acting institution in Bombay. Because the joy of imparting knowledge is so phenomenal, is so wonderful. The joy of giving. And the best thing about being a teacher in acting is that you learn while teaching. You discover that you know a lot. And unknowingly, whenever I get an award, I thank all my teachers, because the kind of values unknowingly again they installed in me or instilled in me was fantastic. I remember one of my teachers, Rita Ganguly, was my movement teacher in drama school. She's a dance teacher, an abstract dance teacher. And I used to hate her class because I am very bad at dancing. And she used to hate me. She used to say that she will put me in the last row whenever there will be an exam for dance movement. These were not regular dance, we had to do some absurd dancing. But I was very cheeky. So she will put me on the 4th row, and on the day of the exam, I will spoil the whole choreography and dancing will come in the front row. But today, I must admit that whatever I am as an actor, in terms of body language, in terms of my stances, in terms of my characterization, the first person I thank is Rita Ganguly. Education, I've gone through your graph, sir. I think the way you started, you have to be a passionate person to give so much. You have to be a person who is not looking for returns, starting from a small village near Panvel and to build this huge education empire for the lack of any other word, I am using the word empire. Empire is not necessarily used for education, but the kind of work that you've done, I've gone through your book. It's an eye-opener, it's fantastic. I'm nobody to comment on the kind of book it is because I'm not qualified enough to do that. But I always go by the intentions of people. I think the intention is much more important than the end result. And for that, Dr. Pillai, your intentions are very honorable, and I congratulate you for writing this book. And apart from this book, I congratulate you for the kind of work that you are doing for children in the Department of Education. As an actor, I go to a lot of places, to a lot of villages. I was once traveling in Himachal in a remote village, and there was a school in the ruins of a house. There was a school, and when I asked the teacher, there were no chairs. There was no blackboard. The blackboard was the door of that house. So they will write on the door of that house, and if it rained or if it snowed, school was off. And yet I saw teachers traveling for 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers on foot and giving education. I think every child wants to get educated. But unfortunately, the circumstances they are in, the poverty that they go through beyond 6th or 7th standard, then they think that let me just now contribute in the household. The girl education is so important. The education given to girls, the children, the destitute children, also the education gives you dignity. It gives you dignity to deal with life. If nothing else, you also learn how to deal with life, and also it stops crime, it stops use of drugs, etc., because you discover that you have the ability to understand that there is much more in education than just meets the eye. And I feel very fortunate that as a student of life, I have learned so much, because I am interested in people. I'm a people-oriented person. I get very pleasantly happy that I come for the book launch. It's not because I feel important. I think it's something I need to lend my name to. Recently I released my friend Ali Peter John's book, and I was very happy there. I don't do modeling for suits. I don't do modeling for drinks or cigarettes or tobacco. I don't do modeling even for pan parag. But I do lend my name and my picture to all such noble causes. And I'm very happy to be part of this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It's in fact beautiful to hear about how School of Life has inspired you. In fact, I've had the opportunity to also interact with so many students who come from Active Prepares, and it's fabulous to see how you have translated your passion to all of them. So thank you once again, sir. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment that we've all been waiting for, and I invite our esteemed dignitaries to please come together for the launch of the book, EduNation, the Dream of an India Empowered. Let's have a huge round of applause, everyone, as we unveil to you an unprecedented piece of work titled EduNation, the Dream of an India Empowered. A beautiful personal memory there for sir, indeed. Thank you very much. And on that note, we also now set the stage for an enlightening conversation between the two pioneering educators who, in their own enterprising way, have made a difference to the lives of the students across different spheres of the education. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to indulge in a dialogue, and I now request Mr. Kher to please take it forward from here.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Pillai. How educated are you?
I have my SSLC from Kerala, my BA from Bombay, Somaiya College, my MA from Somaiya College, and also a PhD in literature. I also have a degree in B.Ed, Bachelor of Education, and also a degree in law.
Were you good at studies? My God.
I was always...
If he has to make a visiting card, it has to be a book.
I was always... in SSLC, I had about 68%. Then I had between 50 and 55, 60% throughout.
55%. What gave you this idea of educating children and educating? Where did it start?
It happened by an accident that there was a school for sale, and along with my brother, we took over that school and started classes up to 5th standard. Those were the years in 1970, government stopped English medium schools. All over the country, they stopped aiding any English medium schools. So we started with 5th standard in 1970. Then,
what kind of accident was that? In the sense that why did you decide to choose a school to buy or to help?
See, I was a lecturer in Somaiya College up to 1970. Then, I was teaching technical English, and it was an aided college, and we had to sit there for 8 hours without work. So I resigned that and started the school. That's how it was.
How many students did you start with?
I had initially about 30 or 40, then it went to 400, and we reached up to 9th standard. Then we realized that we need permission in 1975.
Oh.
So
Permission for
all
what?
the schools started between 70 and 75 was without recognition. Because the government did not know that unaided schools were there or are going to be there.
And how many students do you have now?
Now I have about 30,000 students.
So 30 to 30,000. I always say that kuch bhi ho sakta hai. From 30 students to 30,000 students. What is your primary reason? What do you think then when you teach? What is it that in your mind that you are actually wanting to do?
See, I always created very successful students. All my students in all my schools, nobody fails, even in 10th standard or 12th standard. Of course, in engineering and architecture and all professional courses, there are some percentage of people dropping out at various stages. But my school education is perfect everywhere. All the schools have 100% result. In fact, in some of my schools, I have a junior college and a high school in Kanda Colony, New Penvale, where out of the 1,000 students appearing for junior college examination, almost everybody passes with 60% and above. Hardly about 10% to 15% are between 50 and 60.
Are you a strict person as a...
No. We see, what we did was, we were invited to start schools in New Bombay. So, when I went there, we found huge playgrounds in those years, big schools they constructed and gave us. And then we created a lot of activities in the school. So, we kept the students occupied throughout activities and learning process, sports, games, cultural activities. And therefore, children started coming to school. In fact, in a Marathi medium school, I started a swimming pool also in the 90s. In a Marathi medium school, aided school, there is a swimming pool. And the students' parents pay about 150 rupees or something like that for that, annually. And that's how we made the education very interesting for students, and therefore we don't have any dropouts.
You still not answered my question. Are you a strict teacher?
I think in the 70s to 75 to 80s, we used to beat up children.
Exactly. I went to a school where every class...
But not after 80s. I think I've beaten up children during this period, and parents wanted us to beat children.
My parents sent me to the school only for that reason. एजुकेशन तो हो जाएगी पर मार थोड़ी सी खा ले लाइफ के बारे में. What is one lesson you have learnt yourself about education while when you teach so much or when you have these educational institutions, etc.? What is one lesson that you've learned?
See, early in life I've learned about the poverty of people and how poverty can lead to educational failure. And therefore I felt that education is the only way that you can change the face of the nation. And education, edunation is basically career building. It is basically institution building. It is basically community building, and it is nation building. This is how we can improve the quality of people, quality of life, and also protect the subsequent generations from getting into failures in life.
You have 3 children.
3, yeah.
What are their educations?
My eldest son, Priyam, is finished his 12th standard here, and he was in US in Berkeley. He did his bachelor's and he did his PhD in MIT and Emerson PhD in MIT, and he is back in India. He's here. After the PhD, he came back to India to take over the school and run the academic standards better. My daughter is also finished her mechanical engineering PhD in Berkeley, and she has started a company there. And my third son is an economist. He's mostly into events.
He's also PhD? Not yet.
No, he's doing. He's
PhD से कम कोई कुछ नहीं करता यहाँ पे.
And we have a very eventful happening in events. One of the biggest events that we have is Alegria. It's a festival which happens every year. Very well attended festival of, it is in New Panvel, in one of the campuses we have. And he organizes all that event.
You said that you've coined this word edunation.
Yeah.
Which is I love the name. How did this thought come to your mind?
Well, I live with it. See, every day, morning till evening, I live with this education. Going to a primary school, secondary school, junior college, architecture, management, engineering, polytechnic, B.Ed, D.Ed, all kinds of schools I go every day on a daily basis. The schools that I have built, I bought land, constructed buildings, created the infrastructure, brought in teachers, brought in students, and running very successfully. So therefore, I thought that it must be that's how it was coined.
The dream of an India empowered. Do you give scholarship to students?
Yes, we do have a lot of scholarships to poor students. In fact, I have a school where a night high school and a night junior college for the working students, and especially coming from slums in Chembur. It is doing very well. These students, the best of students, we pick up and put them to management education, and we do make a difference in their lives subsequently.
It's wonderful. Means I know, and I'm sure there are distinguished gatherings know what education can do to children, especially from underprivileged background. What is it your idea that this is why I want to teach these children? What is that one philosophy or one thought that you have?
See, education is going to change the world, change India, change our villages. And once we are successfully educate a child, he becomes a valuable person for the country. Can I just read something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello. Let us consider how education empowers a nation. First, it removes poverty and ignorance. Second, it encourages family planning and restricts population growth. Third, by creating space for dialogue, it promotes respect, tolerance, positive action. It integrates the principles of human dignity and justice into our daily life. Through education, unity and sameness, it works toward a unification of man. Fourth, education creates a healthy respect for the environment. It promotes circumspect, self-correcting attitude towards environmental concerns like global warming, dependence on non-biodegradable products, energy misuse. Fifth, by raising awareness of our rights, education enables us to question inept governance and misrule. It makes us both responsible and responsive. And I was ending the book like this. To educate is to empower. To educate is to empower, and to empower is to set free. This is the heaven of freedom that Tagore was dreamt for our country. This is the attitude that we need to see now for ourselves, our country. This is the only way to scale the opportunities of the new world economy without barriers, without fetters, with our eyes on the future and with our heads held high. A nation will be able to create a lot of self-respect, dignity of human beings, and also dignity of man at the end of your life. Therefore, it is very important that we all collectively request the government to start schools all over the country, educate every citizen born in this country, so that we become a developed nation. I always believed a nation cannot become a developed nation unless we educate every child. In America, in all the European countries, in Singapore, in Australia, which I have dealt in this book, you have seen that first thing they do is education. Every child in Australia, their 45% is the taxation, but still everybody is forced to go to a school. Even if a poor district also will have a school. Any place for that matter, anywhere. The surroundings may not be good. There will be poor cities, but still there will be schools. And therefore, all these developed nations have always treated education as a prime necessity, and it is the need of the nation, and therefore, the politics is prepared for that. And in fact, in California state budget, once I saw 28% was only for primary and secondary education. But the state budget, 28% of the state budget. Because they think that is a necessity. And we also must do that. Somehow or the other, this thought is not in the country. So we must, all of us put together, the press, the media, the people, everybody must put together, must put this thought into the minds of the government that education is something which they required by the nation.
Well, I'm an eternal optimist, and I think if we have 50 more people like Dr. Pillai, this dream can come true. I always believe that. I also want to quote one of my favorite quotes. It says, if you try, you risk failure. If you don't, you ensure it. So this is a good try, and I wish you great distinction. Any questions from the members of the audience? You are allowed to ask a foolish question. That's the beginning of a good question.
Firstly, let me congratulate you on looking at education. I truly believe that if some more people like you come up in almost every city, I can actually say कि अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं. After we educate the youth, we need to skill them. They have to be industry ready. So, are you looking at anything on that ground? I mean, are you tying up with somebody?
We have a skill development program in Rasayani.
Excellent.
Where all the factories are dead almost. So we needed a large number of people to work for us. And all of them want employment, but nobody has any skill. So we started a skill development program. We created a workshop for people, for plumbing, electricity, hardware, beautician, all these programs we started. It's doing very successfully. 100% done by our institution. No support from the government. We have a full-fledged skill development program which is happening. And all our non-teaching staff are recruited from that particular institution. So we have every location we have schools and colleges, and we take the locals for all jobs except teaching. because unless they get qualified. One important thing which I noticed was when we go and build up a region, all the people get into the spirit and they all would be wanting to teach their children subsequently. Their awareness is created that we must educate our children. That is also one among the motives that we put over in the minds of people. Success will come to their children. Therefore, there is a lot of consciousness in the minds of these people in this, wherever we have gone, that they must educate the children.
So first of all, I want to congratulate you. So, in olden days, people used to read a lot of books and all. But in the modern world, we have seen people watching TV and now they have come with the mobile. So naturally, very few people are reading the books. So what measures would you like to,
See, what we do is normally we make students sit down in the classrooms once the lectures are over, and we see to it that they sit and read and learn and write notes, and then they make them learn. That's what we do in our schools and colleges. It's not because nobody is interested in learning today, even especially in the higher education. So we force them, once they come to the college, we force them to sit down and see that they learn. The teachers have been told that once the lecture is over, you take them to some rooms and make them read those chapters. That's what we do forcibly. In fact, I have a school in Gorai, Borivali, where international school is there actually, where we have IB and A levels programs, and we do that this kind of teaching learning process possible. And last year we had a world's topper in business studies from our institution, and we had toppers in physics and mathematics from our institutions in India. 2 students were there who topped in India in IGCSE.
I think what your observation is very good. I grew up in reading books. There was a time when I had a collection of 14,000 books. Not that I read all of them, but the first book that I was introduced to by my uncle used to get those Hindi translation of Russian books as a India-Russia treaty. And the first book that I read was Maxim Gorky's Mother. And I found it amazing, the reading process, because reading, as an actor, when I teach, as an actor, I think it's very important to read. As a person, it's very important to read because it expands your imagination. It gives you a visual treat, whereas mobile, television, all these things narrows down your imagination, because you are seeing somebody else's point of view. On a dark, wintry night, it was drizzling, and there was this man with a hat standing under a lamp post. Now, 100 people sitting here will have a different dark night. A lamp post will be different. Man with the hat will be different. But the moment you see the picturization of the same thing on television, it will be the same person for everybody. So I think that we should, the parents have to do that. I think parents need to tell their children to read books, because that will really make a difference. Yes. Anybody else?
The parents have to sit with children.
Yes.
When they read, and then they will read.
They don't have time to stand with them. What are you talking to them, sir, about that?
Anupam sir, my name is Prabhat from APNS News Agency. The question to you is that, education has been a thriving commercial business nowadays. And if you talk about education free of cost, that is of no quality. So for that purpose, what steps should be taken and how can you prevent from that to improve the quality of education?
See, it's a very interesting question, and answer is also very simple, that free education has to be given by the government. Private education, you can make little profit, maybe 10, 15, 20% profit, because it has to sustain itself and you have to pay salary to the people. Therefore, the concept of free education has to be done by the government. And therefore, so what we do is we subsidize. Any poor students are there, we give them free education. Whoever can pay must pay. Subsidy is given to people who cannot. That's what we do in our schools. We have a lot of scholarship schemes, and we do give subsidy to people who cannot pay, and we give scholarships also. Am I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Anupam sir, if you like to comment on this.
Major?
I have always got free education. I went to a government school. But I learned a lot more from my teachers' lifestyles than the books. I think it's a very large debate. We can go on and on about it. I think the education system in India needs to be revisited. I think the children have to study something which they are interested in rather than the same kind of subjects. And my niece and nephew, I pity them because in a 24 hours, if they sleep for 6 hours, rest of the time they are studying. There is no time to play, there is no time to do any extracurricular activities. You are constantly loaded with I hope your school does not give so much of homework, sir. I'll find out from a student. Yeah, because I think it's a system which needs to be changed. Because sometimes a child is completely, if he's in our acting school, you will be surprised to know that 30% people come to my school after they have done what their parents wanted them to do. And they include doctors, engineers, computer engineers, and then they say now lawyers, then they say now we've done what our parents wanted us to do, now we want to do something that we want to do. So it will get into a totally different debate about what should be done, but I think that's it. Anybody else?
We have a question
Hi.
from the gentleman. We'll
Hello.
be taking the last question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this question is actually for Dr. Pillai. Taking on from where Mr. Kher just spoke about, the side. Yeah, Ariman Raj. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Pillai, like Anupam Kher sir said that today the load of studies on children has increased dramatically. Do you feel, or does your book actually talk about different options wherein other schools or other universities could pick up and actually formulate their educational programs into a different way?
I have dedicated one chapter only for that.
Yeah, so you could just
That is,
give us some tips on it so that,
Mentoring the arrival of the 21st century teacher.
okay.
Okay, that's a chapter which gives you all these thoughts about how education can be made interesting for students in the schools so that children will come to school. So in fact, we have a school in Gorey where in which children will not go back home. Throughout the day they are in the school playing, doing activities and learning. So if we create environment like this, I suppose there will be a lot of change taking place.
No, but what happens is actually even the schools and the universities are bound by the curriculum which is set by the Ministry of Education. So they don't have a choice. They may just come up with alternatives wherein, it makes things easier for the children.
So the principal promoted him to the 9th standard on compassionate grounds because the other students started calling him uncle. But it was so funny that there was a different way of learning. Tables, I now speak tables at that time, 1 7 1s are 7 7 2. So he used to get stuck at 7 7s are. मतलब हिंदी में उनको पहाड़े बोलते हैं तो साथ एकम साथ ऐसे वो याद करते थे तो टीचर उसको साथ साथ पे मारता था. So he got so used to it that even when he was alone, I think 7 he used to sit and then only he used to do. So there are some novel ways of learning. Thank you so much. I think.
Just one moment.
Yes.
See, if you want your child to be very good in mathematics, first, second,
For both of our pioneering educators, Mr. Anupam Kher and Dr. Pillai. And thank you very much, sir, for being present here, for gracing this lovely occasion. In fact, I would wish to sign off with the words of Nelson Mandela, where he says that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, sir. And we cordially invite all our friends from the media and guests to please join in for cocktails and dinner. Thank you very much.
अनुपम जी इधर लेट आए हो नहीं सर बहुत लेट है यस सर कैन वी कीप ऑन अनुपम जी राइट पे वन मोर नहीं क्या नहीं क्या अनुपम सर एक सोलो करते हैं सोलो विदाउट बुक थैंक यू सर
हाँ जी
थोड़ा पीछे जाओगे तो सबको सब पीछे पीछे आओ, सब पीछे पीछे हो जाओ, पीछे हो जाओ यार, सबको बूम दिखेंगे, सबको मिल जाएगा। रोलिंग एक ही से पीछे हो जाओ ना, हां प्लीज बहुत मिल के पीछे हो ना, पीछे राजा भाई चलो छोटे केवल छोटा है यार, अरे क्या यार, चलो ठीक है, चलो रोलिंग 3 क्वेश्चन
तो पहले थोड़ा आगे आ जाइए।
इधर हो गया, चलो रोलिंग।
So what do you think? Educating is just getting degrees or making yourself more knowledgeable? क्या कमेंट करना चाहेंगे इस बारे में?
मैं पहली बात तो मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ डॉक्टर पिल्लई का, जिन्होंने मुझे अपने पुस्तक के विमोचन के लिए आज बुलाया। एजुनेशन, मैंने इस किताब को पढ़ा है, बहुत अच्छी, आज के दौर में ये किताब बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। जिस पैशन से डॉक्टर पिल्लई एजुकेशन देते हैं बच्चों को, वो सराहनीय है। एजुकेशन एक प्रणाली है जिसको अपनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है। अगर देश में हमारा हर बच्चा या हर बच्ची पढ़ी लिखी होगी तो बहुत सारे चीज़ों को में सुधार आ सकता है। एजुकेशन में बहुत सारी, एजुकेशन सिस्टम में बहुत सारा चेंज भी आना चाहिए, मगर इस तरह के लोगों का अनथक प्रयत्न जो है वो हमें और इस ओर ले जाएगा जहाँ पर देश का हर बच्चा एजुकेटेड होगा।
क्योंकि अनुपम सर, आप यहाँ पे जैसे चेंजेस की बात कर रहे हैं एजुकेशन में, तो हमारा बजट आ रहा है, तो मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि एजुकेशन, हमारे बहुत सारे ऐसे गांव हैं जहाँ तक नहीं पहुँच पाता, लोग नहीं पढ़ पाते, तो इस बार आपकी क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि बजट में ऐसा क्या हो एजुकेशन से?
एजुकेशन में बजट का जो है वो, आई थिंक डॉक्टर पिल्लई विल बी मोर क्वालिफाइड टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन।
The present system of government, they don't understand that this is very important. They are only talking about educating the same children or having the same number of schools that they had. Now they are talking that they will take some more schools and colleges, but I don't think they don't understand the value of education.
But what is to be done? That's what the lady is asking.
We have to survey all the districts and the villages, and we should create schools for the number of children born in that particular village. You know, take a village. So you know how many children are born up to 5 years of age, or for 5 years. So you can plan. You get 5 years to plan your village school, and you should be able to do that. And if every village government is helping the villagers and the village panchayats or the local bodies to educate all the children born in that particular village, then alone that particular system can be taken care of.
मतलब ग्रास रूट से एजुकेशन का बहुत ज़रूरी है, बहुत ज़रूरी, विलेजेस से लेकर ग्राम पंचायत से लेकर, और वो कोशिश की जानी चाहिए कि बच्चा जो है वो अगर प्राइमरी से शुरू हो रहा है तो वो एटलीस्ट 11th तक 10th तक ज़रूर एजुकेशन कर ले, क्योंकि जो हमारी जो आर्थिक प्रॉब्लम्स हैं जो गरीब हैं वो 5-6 क्लास तक भेजते हैं और उसके बाद फिर उनको खेत में लगा देते हैं या छोटी छोटी इंडस्ट्रीज में लगा देते हैं। वो आई थिंक वो चेंज होना बहुत जरूरी है।
सर जैसे कि आपने जिस तरह की उम्मीद कर रहा बजट,
इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम में 2 तरह के हैं, मतलब जो रिमोट एरियाज में रहते हैं उनको अच्छा एजुकेशन नहीं जाता है, जो शहरी क्षेत्र में रहते हैं उनको अच्छा टीचिंग मिलता है, अच्छे इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल रहते हैं। तो आप उसको कैसे, मतलब दोनों को सेम तरह का एजुकेशन मिले, आपके दिमाग में किस तरह का राय है?
See, the government can do it, or the parents in the villages must unite together to create this form of education. Then it is possible. But government has to support. But at the moment, the government is not aware of this need. That so many children are. In fact, I don't think they know that there are so many children born in this country every year, and how to create schools for these people. Unless so, Make India means we should make education possible in India, along with manufacturing and other things.
बजट में आई थिंक देना चाहिए काफ़ी, बहुत मात्रा में और बहुत परसेंटेज। अब टेक्निकली कितना परसेंटेज होना चाहिए ये मैं नहीं जानता, बट जैसा कि इन्होंने कहा कि अवेयरनेस बहुत ज़रूरी है, इस बात का एहसास बहुत ज़रूरी है। हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि कभी कभी जो चीज़ें बस ऐसे हो जाती हैं, पढ़े लिखे एक्टर नहीं आते, उनका भी वो भी पॉपुलर हो जाते हैं। आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट टू मेक It's stupid of me to say that education is important. It is important.
नहीं, थॉट का वैल्यू भी कम हो जाता है। एक आदमी अच्छा सोचता भी होगा, लेकिन वो जो गवर्नमेंट अगर एक आदमी होता लेकिन वो थॉट
फिर भी मुझे लगता है जो प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट इज ट्राइंग
talking about it, they are trying. Let us give them a chance to find out. But then they must understand that make India is also creating a nation.
मुझे आपने थोड़ी देर पहले कहा था कि जैसे कि आपके स्कूल में ऐसे लोग आते हैं जो कोई लॉयर होते हैं, डॉक्टर होते हैं, फिर एक्टिंग में अपना करियर स्टार्ट करते हैं, तो आपने अपना करियर कैसे स्टार्ट किया और मॉम डैड ने आपको कितना सपोर्ट किया था?
मेरे मॉम डैड बहुत सपोर्टिव थे। मेरे पिताजी मेरा हर नाटक देखते थे। मेरे पास तो पैसे नहीं थे, मैं पढ़ाई करने के लिए मैं माँ के मंदिर से मैंने पैसे चुराए और मैं जाकर चंडीगढ़ में डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंडियन थिएटर में मैंने ऑडिशन दिया। फिर मुझे 200 रुपये का स्टाइपेंड मिला। मुझे हर कदम पर, बट मेरा कहने का मतलब है कि जब मैं फॉर्मल एजुकेशन कर रहा था तो मेरा बिल्कुल इंटरेस्ट नहीं था। मैं पढ़ता था बस पास होने के लिए। बट जब मुझे इंटरेस्ट था, जब मैं नाटक की ट्रेनिंग करने लगा तो मैं अपनी क्लास में फर्स्ट आने लगा। तो ये भी बहुत ज़रूरी है कि एजुकेशन सिस्टम में बच्चे का एप्टीट्यूड देखकर उनको पढ़ाई कराना बहुत ज़रूरी है।
एजुकेशन सिस्टम तो बच्चों को चेंज करना ही चाहिए, लेकिन मॉम डैड को कितना सपोर्ट करना?
सबसे ज़्यादा मॉम डैड हर चीज़ में। देखिए 2 साल की उम्र से लेकर 8 साल तक की उम्र में बच्चा वो इंसान बन जाता है जो वो पूरी ज़िंदगी बनना होता है, और उसको वो इंसान बनाने में सबसे ज़्यादा योगदान जो है बच्चों का, माँ बाप का होना चाहिए। माँ बाप के पास आजकल वक्त नहीं है बच्चों को सिर्फ ये बिठा के कि तू होमवर्क ख़त्म कर लेगा तो तेरे को ये टेलीविज़न प्रोग्राम देखने दूंगी, तू होमवर्क ख़त्म कर देगा। एजुकेशन इज़ फॉर द पेरेंट्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये बहुत ही सेक्रीफाइस करने का काम है, और पेरेंट्स ही जो हैं वो समाज के प्रति जो उनको अवगत करा सकते हैं वो पेरेंट्स ही करा सकते हैं बच्चों को।
अनुपम सर, आप तीसरी बार आप लेखक के साथ खड़े हुए हैं, लेखक को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। आपकी किताब कब तक आने वाली है? और
मेरी किताब छप चुकी है। मैं बड़ा खुशकिस्मत हूँ कि मेरी किताब के 14 संस्करण आ गए हैं। वो 10 लैंग्वेजेस में रिलीज़ भी हो चुकी है, अलग अलग इंक्लूडिंग कोरियन लैंग्वेज। अगली किताब लिखने के प्रोसेस में हूँ। मैं कंप्यूटर पे बैठ के नहीं लिख सकता हूँ, मुझसे वैसे नहीं लिखा जाता। मैं एयरपोर्ट पे बैठा हूँ या मैं कहीं लॉबी में बैठा हूँ या कुछ बैठा हूँ, तो क्योंकि मैं ज़िंदगी के बारे में किताब लिखता हूँ, मेरे से एजुकेशन के बारे में तो सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता। बट मैं लाइफ में जो एजुकेशन ज़रूरत होती है उसके बारे में लिखता हूँ। उसका मैंने टाइटल अभी तक सिर्फ सोचा है, और टाइटल मेरी अगली किताब का है लेसन्स लाइफ टॉट मी अननोइंगली।
सर लास्टली बात एजुकेशन की हो रही है, स्कूल डेज की हो रही है, तो सर स्कूल डेज में आपका फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट कौन सा था?
मतलब मेरा फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट हिस्ट्री होता था। सब्जेक्ट कोई भी नहीं, एक्टिंग थी। मतलब मुझे हिंदी अच्छी लगती थी। मैं याद कर रहा हूँ कौन सा फेल किस में नहीं होता था मैं। हाँ, हिस्ट्री बस मेरा फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट था। थैंक यू सर।